Hiya, my name's Deb, I'm 34 years old and I've got a condition called ankylosing spondylitis. I was diagnosed about just coming up to 5 years or so ago now. It's quite a complicated condition, and I always try and say to people, if you just look at it as a form of arthritis, that will help you make sense in terms of understanding what it is that it's all about. One of the primary things is pain in your spine, so you can get fusion between your vertebrae, which makes it really difficult to move around. But for me personally, I get issues in all of my joints, so that's my ankles, my knees, my shoulders, and that's been one of the many problems in terms of one, getting a diagnosis, but two, getting kind of treatment and support. I can have problems with my memory and get quite confused, which can make things quite tricky, especially in terms of work and employment. I always find it really difficult to try and explain to people how it is, so one of the things that I like doing in my spare time is a little bit of body art. So I've done this drawing which kind of helps try and depict what it is. So you can see here, if you were able to look inside me, that the pain primarily in the area of my spine. I started getting symptoms when I was about 11, so just coming up to my teenage years, which I already think are really difficult times for young people as it is. So imagine kind of trying to go through that and then having all this extra stuff on top with not really knowing what it was. I was really struggling. I'd started to get quite low and depressed. I'd started isolating myself. I was so tired. Chronic fatigue is a massive part of this condition. My friends were all going out and I wasn't able to do that. I was in and out of hospital all the time and to the doctors, always complaining about something different, and you can imagine what other people around me used to say. They used to kind of say, oh, just Deborah, she's just moaning again. I thought it was your ankle and now you're saying it's your back and now you're saying it's your shoulder. One of the big things that I always wanted to do growing up was be a midwife. It had been a massive passion for me. I love supporting women and babies. So I went to university and that was a big, huge thing for me. But unfortunately, after a couple of years, I was declared unfit for practice just because of the amount of time that I was in and out of hospital having treatment. My journey to diagnosis has been an extremely long one. Like I said, I started symptoms at the age of 11, but only got diagnosed just before I turned 30. Those appointments prior to getting that diagnosis have been really, really challenging. I used to come home crying all the time, feeling like I'd just not been listened to. I was going in with so many different problems and they were never looking at me as a whole person. It was always just on that day with that particular symptom. When I got my diagnosis eventually and saw my consultant that I'm with now, everything changed dramatically for me. It wasn't just a simple thing that he did. Well, in fact, it was a really simple thing that he did. We sat down and we had a conversation, and the thing he asked me was, what is it that you want to achieve from today? And that was it. We sat and we spent an hour talking about what things were important to me. He wanted to know all about my hobbies, my interests, the different treatment that I'd already tried and how that had impacted upon me. He was interested to know if I'd heard of any other treatment from anybody else that I wanted to either ask more questions about or try myself. And just generally where I wanted to go in life and how he thought he could try and help. And I'd kind of never really had that before, and when he first had that conversation, it took me aback a little bit. In fact, I just cried. I'm quite an emotional person anyway, and throughout that hour-long appointment, I think I cried for probably about 4 to 5 minutes of it. And I was just like, I'm just so happy someone's finally listened to me and what I want.
Well, she came back and she just came bounding in the room, gave me a big hug. And it was just like having the old Deb back, and I couldn't believe it. What he's done, he looked at her as a person. He asked her what she needed. He asked her what she thought the goals in life were.
Having different conversations has really made the huge difference to me. Like I said, it wasn't anything massive that anybody did. It didn't cost anybody any more time or any more money. What it was just an entire shift in relationships. He respected my knowledge and my expertise. After all, I'm the one with the condition, and I appreciate that he's got a medical profession and he's got lots of knowledge to bring to the table, but equally so have I. And I just think it's something that more people need to be talking about. I think it's fantastic that it's now on the NHS agenda. It's in the long-term plan. It's something that we're really working towards. Being part of the Lancs and South Cumbria co-production group and the National Strategic co-production group is a fantastic opportunity for me and all the other people that are on there to help champion this and get this message out there. We want to work with professionals. We're not here to dictate to you what you should and shouldn't do or tell you things that aren't working. What we're here to say is actually look at what does work and how by just changing something so small can make such a huge difference for somebody and somebody else's life, and not just for them but for all their loved ones and for the people around them. I think for other people, seeing the difference in me and how I've managed to progress in my life is one of the biggest things that they would say has been a benefit of this.
Since getting the right support, Deb has gone from strength to strength. She goes to the gym every morning before work and then does a hell of a lot of running. She's run an ultra marathon of 44 miles across the local fells across Lancashire, which was an absolutely fantastic achievement, and regularly enters other road and fell races as well as open water swimming events.
Look how beautiful this is. How can you not want to be here? So as well as this being part of the way I manage my condition, it's also a massive passion of mine. Can't beat a bit of fell running.